Coach, this week's like a kind of like a warm-up week, I guess you would call it. Is that the case? And sort of, what does it look like? Do you game plan more? And have you thought about starters playing for this third preseason?
Yeah, this third and final preseason game, we usually let the starters play a little bit more. And again, it depends on the circumstance and the way the game goes. But you'd love to get maybe 2 quarters, out of them. But we do take a look at Atlanta a little bit, and we simulate a game week schedule-wise now that camp is broke, and that's probably the only reason. These weeks are important to get the guys, no longer in the hotel, they're living at home, transportation here, all that kind of stuff. It simulates and sort of feels like a game week.
CJ, that third injury update, Christian Kirk.
Yeah, CJ groin, re-injured that one. He'll miss this week. Mac, you said Mac? Who? Oh, Christian will miss again. Still feeling good, but we're just going to hold him out this week.
So is Mac hurt then?
No, Mac. I thought you said Mac. I didn't. I thought you said Kirk. Mac. No, Mac's good.
You want to get Eric Armstead some work this week?
Yes, we're going to see how he is in practice. I can't speak on the game just yet, but we're going to work some individual stuff and then progress, slowly with him. And then I'll just Savage, his red jersey came off, so he's officially cleared to go. So he'll play this week.
When you start sort of getting together with Trent and the rest of the coaches to sort of trim down the roster, I know it's a difficult time, but when do you start that process?
Well, we talk. We have personnel meetings after every ball game and throughout training camp, and we talk about the roster. It's still early, to make any kind of decisions. I mean, obviously Trevor's the quarterback, and Josh will be the defensive end, so we know that much. But after that, it's still evaluation, and still want to get as much time with these guys as we can, right up until the last minute.
How tough is it for somebody like Ruben Speaks to make an impression when it's such a short amount of time? I mean, he had a nice sack the other night, but basically you'll be evaluating him based on 2.5 weeks of being with you.
Yeah, I mean it's tough. It's tough when guys come in middle of camp, but he's done a nice job just picking up the terminology, picking up the defense, and he's getting meaningful game reps that are good for him, and we just got to continue to evaluate how he does in individual drills, any team reps that he gets during the week, and then again with this last game, probably looking like the second half potentially playing, and just again making the most of those reps, and it's probably a challenge, with a guy like that, probably 53, as you go, but practice squad is not out of the question, and that's what a lot of these guys, are competing for. They're still competing for those spots.
The rule this year where you can designate 2 players to return from IR before 52-man cut down, how much flexibility does that give you just building out the roster?
I mean, it helps you. Especially in a situation maybe like Dewey or, one of these guys like that just, is banged during camp and they're not going to start the season. I mean, it does give you flexibility, but then you're going to have to make a move down the road. But, for us to do that with a couple of players, it does make it a little bit easier to manage your roster right at cut downs.
How big of a week, and even last week for Parker Washington, just getting so many more reps with Christian out?
It's valuable. I mean, you look at the last 5 games last year when Christian missed, and he got all the work there. I think he got a lot of confidence and gained confidence. He's stronger, this year. He looks faster, quicker, all of that, and he's just making the most of his opportunities and doing a nice job in the return game as well. And he's been, as we've said, he's been one of the bright spots of camp.
We've talked about the year 2 guys, but I mean, Braswell, Miller, Bigsby, Parker. I mean, there's a lot of guys that were considerably different than they did last year. Is that?
Yeah, those guys are really showing up. They're making plays all over the field, and you saw Tank the other night, just how powerful he can be running the football and just improving, and he's going to be a great addition for the run game. And as you mentioned, Ventrell getting those reps. Foyer's not there, so he's be able to step in and do some great things. And and really this is his first year, because he missed last year, but he's done a great job. Braswell's done a great job. You look at all these guys, second-year players that are just getting opportunities, and it's part of that developmental theme, of just developing your roster and letting these guys perform, and it's benefiting them.
What do you need to see from the offensive line this week? One more week of camp,
Yeah.
one more game. What do you want out of those guys?
Well, number one goal is to obviously, keep your quarterback clean. Second thing is be able to, run the football a little bit with some success. And even though you're not going into these games, game planning, you still want to have that success. And just, your training camp rules kind of take over in protection game, run game, things like that. But, play physical, control the line of scrimmage as best you can, no matter who lines up on the other side. I can't control, Atlanta, but just see the continuity, the unity with those 5 or 6 guys that'll be out there.
Those 5 starters you're planning on starting them Saturday, Friday night, right?
Yes.
5.
What more do you want to see from Roy?
Roy's been doing a really good job. I think too, he missed a lot of springtime, with his injury, and so it takes some time just learning the techniques and learning the details of the defense, but he's been doing a great job. He's going to be an impact player for us, and just continue to grow in the defense, consistency, not only by Roy but by everybody, and continue to show that he's one of the mainstays on that interior line.
I think Javon Foster played over 60 snaps on Saturday. What did you see from him in that extended stretch?
It's interesting because he continues to improve, continues to get better. I think as the game wore on, I think some fatigue took over a little bit. He got tired a little bit towards the end, but he busts his tail and doesn't make many mistakes. Honestly, if it is, sometimes it's just a brain lapse here or there. But he's improving and he's doing some good things. And this past game was a lot of reps for him, and for a lot of guys. But I thought he handled it well.
How valuable all those reps for a rookie who might not, potentially play a lot of regular season snaps this year?
Well, guys like that, to put that amount of snaps on film for us to evaluate, and then obviously for other teams to evaluate when you get to cut downs, that whatever happens, you have good tape out there, and that's what I just keep encouraging all our guys that are competing is, you're competing for our roster, but there's 31 other teams that are looking as well. So always make the most of your opportunities when you get a chance.
When you and Trent first got your hands on this roster 2 years ago, was one of the bigger challenges being how do you improve the bottom third of the roster, where your depth is going to come from, where guys are just it just seems like where you guys are now is pretty is a pretty good jump up from where you were 2 years ago with regards to the bottom of the roster.
Yeah, and that takes time. And to speak to say that bottom third or even half of your roster, those guys typically end up playing a lot towards the end of the season, right? Because your starters get nicked and might miss some time, and these are the ones that fill in and give you the meaningful game reps, and they're also the ones playing on special teams, right? And again, it just goes back to our philosophy here is we just got to develop everybody. We've got to keep coaching everybody, and you just can't coach the top third or the top half, right? It's got to be everybody, and I think that and the just the acquiring of players through the draft, through free agency, the last couple of years, you're starting to see now these young players really emerge and do some good things.
Anybody else for coach?
Appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.